Dear friends, let's read a passage from the novel The Stranger by Albert Camus. Between my straw mattress and the bed planks, I had actually found an old scrap of newspaper, yellow and transparent, stuck to the canvas. On it was a news story, the first part of which was missing, but which must have taken place in Czechoslovakia. A man had left a Czech village to seek his fortune. 25 years later, and now rich, he had returned with a wife and a child. His mother was running a hotel with his sister in the village where he'd been born. In order to surprise them, he had left his wife and child at another hotel and gone to see his mother, who didn't recognize him when he walked in. As a joke, he'd had the idea of taking a room. He had shown off his money. During the night, his mother and his sister had beaten him to death with a hammer in order to rob him and had thrown his body in the river. The next morning, the wife had come to the hotel and, without knowing it, gave away the traveler's identity. The mother hanged herself. The sister threw herself down a well. I must have read that story 1,000 times. On the one hand, it wasn't very likely. On the other, it was perfectly natural. Anyway, I thought the traveler pretty much deserved what he got and that you should never play games. This story embodies the absurdity of life that Camus explores in his philosophy of absurdism. The man's death is both unlikely and yet perfectly natural, highlighting the paradoxical nature of existence. The randomness and unpredictability of the man's death, and the subsequent suicides of his family members, demonstrate the senseless and chaotic nature of life. Massalt's reaction to the story is also significant. He reads it repeatedly and finds it both unlikely and natural, emphasizing his own detachment from emotional responses to events. His lack of empathy and his belief that the traveler pretty much deserved what he got also highlights the indifference and lack of meaning he sees in life, another key aspect of absurdism. Camus argues that humans must confront the absurdity of existence in order to find freedom and meaning. In this passage, the man's desire to surprise his family and show off his wealth leads to his violent death, highlighting the danger of seeking validation and meaning through external sources. The suicides of the man's mother and sister also demonstrate the futility of trying to escape the absurdity of life through death. Overall, this passage showcases Camus' philosophy of absurdism, which argues that life is inherently meaningless and that humans must confront the absurdity of existence in order to find freedom and meaning. The story of the man's death and the subsequent suicides of his family members serve as a powerful illustration of this idea, highlighting the senseless and arbitrary nature of human suffering and the need to confront the absurdity of life with courage and indifference. Dear friends, thank you for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe.